Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate the support of the channel as always. So today we have Chris, and he's in his Stridsvagen. He's actually on his Asia account, from what I understand from the email, and he's in the Strv K, the Stridsvagen K, which is really just a Centurion. I don't even know why they call it the Stridsvagen, to be quite honest, but it is in the Swedish. It is on the Swedish tech tree, not on the tech tree, but the Swedish nationality, I guess. It's a premium tier 9 medium tank with a really good turret. Or is it a heavy tank? See, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about everything. This is definitely a Czech TD, and it's tier 7. All right, so it's not any of those things. It is a tier 9 heavy tank. Okay, let's just leave it at that. I think we got it all sorted out. He sent me this. I've been working with him for a couple months right now, and he talked about, or we talked about a lot, going to flanks, analyzing what's going on, and then making good decisions from there on whether to fall back or hold or push or whatever the case may be. So we are here on Himmel's Liveoaksdorf, and let's just pause it here for a second, because in general the southwest spawn has a much better time down here in terms of pushing up forward and pushing back the green team. You'll also notice that if we look at the green team, we're doing okay numbers-wise. We got 4, 2 of them are going that way. We do have a 705, and it looks like a CC Mark 1 is moving up. So we've got a good amount of tanks, but nobody's really interested in diving in. The only way this flank gets rolled fast is one or the other team gets into this pit, kills the other team, whoever tries to get in there, and then overwhelms. But from this side, it's easier to defend than it is from the other side. So it's easier to be offensive from the southwest. It's easier to be defensive from the northeast. So let's just see how this thing develops. Now they've got a decent amount of tanks, and if you look at the lineups, lots of armor, several really good hold down tanks. This is actually a surprising shot to me right here. Maybe it's the side of the turret that we get. I don't know. I'm not sure. That maybe it went into the ring, possibly into the ring. Got him. Let him knock that tree down to kind of set up his little nest right here. This will give him a little bit of cover. Allow him to come up here and maybe get some cheeky shots on guys like that. So nice little 735 damage start right there. Notice now as we start paying attention how this match is going. Generally you get a fight down here in the southeast. I tend to think this is the most important terrain. I'm glad that that's where he went, especially with this tank. His team did send a significant amount of tanks into the town, but notice there's really nothing in the town right now. An E75 and T62A have been killed over there. The Leopard makes an early move. I think maybe he was thinking his buddies would push in with him, but he's getting massacred in there. Like I said, from that other spawn over there, it's just easier to get into that pit and own it. And all of a sudden, losing the Leopard, losing the 54E1, now we're sort of on our back foot over here, and finally the CC Mark 1 is coming in. So we're getting to that point where we're going to have to make a decision. Do we stay or do we go? And because they've lost the pit, because the Leopard lost his little fight, although he was really destined to do that no matter what happened, even had Peter Gunn pushed in there, he'd be dead too. Conqueror's in a nice spot if you are controlling things. He's in a not great spot if you're not controlling things, meaning that the other team is going to be able to send 2 or 3 tanks over there. They'll also be hold down. They'll eventually push in and kill him. Peter cannot support him very well from here because there's so much flat space up here. He'll get shot in the side trying to get those shots. So now you've got to start thinking about, well, this ain't working. And I will tell you that defending from this pit right here that Peter's currently in is not the way to go. He does have the Object 705A up top, but that guy is just asking for his lower hull to start getting hit because he's up on that flat ground. He does have a CC Mark 2, CC-1 Mark 2 coming in. So let's see what Peter does. Maybe trying to think about a shot up here. This is where you really can get exposed to the guys in the back. They've got a 705 back there as well. The Conqueror is a good hold down tank, and I think it's about here. Yes, it is. Peter starts to pull out. I would say, Peter, right here, what I would do is stop, spin, and run. I understand you're trying to keep your front armor to them, but they're sort of busy with this 705 Alpha, so I'd have just spun right around and make a runner. I don't think it hurts you. because the Conqueror's not that interested in coming up over top against the 705A's gun. They did take a few pieces out of them. Alright, so now we have moved back into the defensive position, and this is the best defensive position on this flank, which is on this back edge right here, especially if you have some sniperinos, which they do not at the moment, but hold on, some guys will react. And notice that over in the town, they're pushing into the backfield. Also, we've got a nice little advantage of 5-3 set up here. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. We do have to be very careful here. We don't have any control over it, but these guys pushing across, depending on how well the defense is set up back by the cap, they can lose a lot of hit points and tanks up here. For the moment, though, we've got them kind of cornered. The thing we need to be careful about is getting pushed over here, or at least cleaned out on our flank. So we want to hold this flank, attrit as many hit points as we can if they get aggressive pushing in, which they probably will. Wait for our tanks from the town to get a little bit closer in there, or maybe even behind them, and then start working from there. We can also expect potentially some of the defenders over here, or attackers, whichever way you want to look at it, will peel back over to the west and try to go help with the situation back there. So the purple team doesn't have a lot of great options here. Do they just push in to these guys hold down? Not a great option, because we got a pretty good defense here now, right? We got this nice 705 who's in a good position for a bad gun depression tank. He's up on this side slope. He can kind of back down it sideways, which is going to cover up his lower hull, but he can still get that crappy depression gun into anything that wants to go ahead and try to highlight itself or come up and over here. Then we have two good hold down fighters here. One of them an autoloader, although it's not a burst damage autoloader. It's got a lot of damage and a lot of armor that it can give out. And these guys start peeking in. So one of Peter's questions to me was, did he make the right decision? He felt like he left the, whatever the last guy over there that died, the other Conqueror, I believe. He felt like he kind of left him hanging, but I think this was absolutely the right decision. I thought the push by your two teammates into that corner wasn't a bad thing. You just didn't have enough tanks up there keeping them from coming around the corner or getting into the pit. Mainly because a good number of your guys were camping or had pushed into town. So that's one thing we've got to watch for. Obviously, poking up and over with a turret turning the other way, and we've got guys right there. It is very often difficult to keep track of two axes like that. And now we're just holding, right? This is looking really good. It's 9-3. What I will say here, though, for the rest of this fight, Peter, is maybe a little too hesitant. You need to get your turret up there and your gun up there and look for shots. You're backing way down, which is a good thing in terms of not allowing maybe a little bit of your hatch to stick up and have someone snipe you, but you're so far back by the time you get reloaded that it takes you forever to get back into the fight right here. And you really want to give them trouble with multiple people to worry about as well. So just as you had one snuck into your side of your turret, you want to try to keep them busy with poking up and taking shots. And this thing's turret is great for this particular fight. This is exactly where you want to be in terms of hold down kind of capability. So we peeked there, that didn't really work. We come back and just think about the timing. It's been so long since we actually got a shot. And we can start thinking about now, as you look at what's going on down there in the southwest, where the city folk are all the way past their cap, and now we're just putting the vice on this purple team. Some of them have probably peeled back, and it's maybe just about time to start pushing in there and give these guys some trouble. And I think the 705A is thinking about it. There we go. Yep. Mark 1 takes a couple big hits, unfortunately. I think you might actually too. And that's the problem with pushing and those hold down, especially a Super Conqueror. That's exactly what a Super Conqueror wants to see right there. This guy loses his mind, just decides to go get a shot and eats it. And now it's clean up on aisle 2. You can pretty much look at this, go, all right, we can just push in. I would have just gone straight at this guy. I think what you're trying to do is create a couple axes here, which is not a bad idea, but right now you want to keep the pressure on him, so just come straight at him, get your hold down shot, and really, once you get the hold down shot, you could pull back, just keep your turret peeking at him, and look for that next shot. It just takes us a while to kind of get in there. We auto-aim, all right, that's fine.
Enemy's hit. Nice shot.
I'd have kept going in. All right, this is a share hit point situation, in my opinion, Peter. You took the shot and backed out. Good on you. You're saving your HP. But just shoot him and continue in. Now, just as I say that, of course, there's a 705 that's about to make an appearance here. And you eat a shot from him. Which is actually not that bad of a deal, to be quite honest. They shot you. You got a shot into the other tank there. They didn't shoot the 705A, which was the guy that was really getting in their chili.
Target released.
Come on up here and get a nice little shot in this guy's lower plate. There we go. I like it. Nice. Nice. And that was a good poke. You just came up just high enough to get your gun clear of the ground. He was forced to shoot into that nice turret. You get a good little bounce off of that. Just push, 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 push. Gonna zoom out. I think I might have been zoomed in a little bit as I ran in there. I generally don't propose or propone that you go into full zoom mode as you're driving. But in that case, just to get that last shot, maybe zoom in just so you can see where the pipper is. And as soon as it clears that ground, you have any kind of shot into the lower hole, just take a snap on it. Because you know one of these guys is about to shoot him right here and just try to steal that last damage. All right. I think that was a great example of going to a flank, assessing what's going on in that flank. Initial positioning was nice. Also a general awareness of what's going on or how that flank typically plays. And I did like that once he noticed that the position he was in this pit right here was becoming untenable, he fell back. It is really easy to sit in this pit and think that, ooh, I'm a hold down fighting kind of guy. It's not good. The problem is they can come up on this little edge over here and they can come up from this way. So you can't fight both angles, and eventually they're going to start whittling you down because they've also got good hold down positions. And your snipers back here are pretty far back. So fall back one more to the next ridge. That isolates all the fight straight ahead, more or less. A lot more anyway than it would be if you were in this pit right here. Fighting from this pit is fine if you've got somebody down here, or it's more or less neutral and you're both peeking and poking from each side. But once one team gets over here, or the purple team gets over into this area here and owns the pit or owns the, I don't know, alley, whatever you want to call it right here, the swamp, then you got to fall back and get out of there. Fall back one more level. They're kind of assessing that, hey, looks like our city's winning, so let's just hold here for the moment. And then you can see more or less all three of these guys figured it out about the same time, that once the green team got around behind these guys and they peeled a couple of them back, it was time to push in. And they had so many hit points they were able to push, take a couple hits, that's fine, and finish these last dudes off. So nicely done there, Peter. So I don't think it was a bad decision at all. Leaving your friend right there was absolutely the right decision. I thought their push actually over there was fine. It's just your team just didn't have enough tanks in there and weren't able to control it. Once they killed his buddy, you couldn't really support, so falling back was absolutely correct. So well done right there on that. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. Much appreciated. If you like what you see, throw me a subscribe. That's all I've got for today, and we will see ya.